Greetings. Welcome to the Divine Frequency Podcast. Okay? We're in a different setup today. I'm inside of Mr. Abasi Hill's home where we will be conducting a beautiful conversation about his life, his life's work, his transformation in life, and some of the beautiful things he look forward to doing in the future. So, what is the Divine Frequency Podcast? It's a safe space and it's a sacred space. Google defines a sacred space as a place set apart and treated with reverence, often because it's believed to be holy or connected to a higher power. It could be a physical location like a church or a temple, or a more abstract space such as a state of mind or a moment in time. Essentially, it's a place where one feels a sense of connection to something greater than themselves, whether that's a deity, a community, or a profound personal experience. My vision for the Divine Frequency Podcast is to help raise the conscious awareness of the collective in the areas of recognizing I am that I am, or what I like to call I amness. Self-love, self-care, healing, yoga, meditation, fasting, detoxes, cleanses, breath work, sound healing. We're talking about food consumption, our natural innate gifts, talents, and abilities, our purpose, our call, our life's work. We're going to talk about superpowers. I believe gratitude is a superpower because it has the power to transform circumstances. At least I've experienced that in my life. We're going to talk about our bodies as a temple, affirmations, positive thinking, and overcoming obstacles and creativity, etc., etc. Welcome to the Divine Frequency Podcast, and all that I've mentioned are some of the topics that during each episode we may get into. So, let me introduce my guest for today. Glory to God, I'm so excited to finally meet this gentleman and to actually be in his presence. Mr. Abasi.
Hey. How you doing?
Hey. Okay, so let me tell you about Mr. Abasi Hill. He is an entrepreneur and minister whose focus is serving the African American community. By publishing educational activity materials for children, he works to inform the next generation about Black history. These books and posters highlight the contributions of African Americans to society and the struggles these pioneers faced. Through knowledge of the past, people are better equipped to understand current events and able to fight for improvements for the future. Tony Abasi Hill, along with his wife, Eva Asha Hill, founded the Feed My Sheep ministry at the Shrine of the Black Madonna in 2008. After witnessing dozens of Black men and women sleeping in a field on Northside Drive here in Atlanta. Since its inception, they have served more than 30,000 plates to the economically disadvantaged. In 2010, their youngest son, Malcolm Amari Hill, lost his life in a fatal car accident at 23 years of age. Eva Asha Hill is the co-founder of the Malcolm Amari Hill Instructional Safe Driving Classes for teens and young adults. Her youngest son's fatal car accident has been transformed into a life-saving experience for others. She is also an ordained minister and certified instructor for her son's safe driving program. Asha earned her bachelor's degree in organizational leadership in 2015 from Port University. She enjoys public speaking and writing among her fondest pastimes. So that's an introduction of Mr. Abasi Hill and his beautiful wife, Asha, who isn't able to join us today. So, how are you feeling today, Abasi?
I feel pretty good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being my second guest. I appreciate you. And I appreciate the work that you're doing for the African American community as well.
Thank you.
So, if you would mind, tell us a little about your background. Where did you grow up? What was life like for you as a young African American male at that time as well?
Well, I grew up in Youngstown, Ohio.
I was born in Youngstown.
In 1956, I was born.
Oh.
I actually was a preemie.
Wow.
I was 3 pounds, 12 ounces.
Okay.
My mother had 9 children. I was the second youngest at that time.
Okay.
6 brothers, 3 girls.
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, my father was killed when I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
My youngest brother was 1. I was 3. My other brother above me was 5. Another brother was 7. Another brother was 9. My sister was 12, and then she had 2 older siblings by another man that weren't that much older, that was reared by their grandmother.
Okay.
Life for us was pretty good. And when we grew up in the rural section of Youngstown, Ohio, it was a very wooded, secluded area.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember my mother saying to me, son, I kept you down here in the woods for a reason, because the streets will eat you up. And, but you know, we were kids, and around 15 years old, we did start hanging in the streets. Consequently, you know, I followed my brothers and what they were doing, and it was dabbling in selling weed, selling drugs, consequently, you know, using them ourselves. Before I knew it, it had escalated into harder drugs.
Wow.
Unfortunately, it turned into addiction at a very early age, and that was the beginning of a downward spiral. But, you know, I joined a very powerful church at the age of 33. It was called the Shrines of the Black Madonna, right here in the Metro Atlanta area.
Yeah.
And through its structure and therapies that we were doing, and its philosophy of God being cosmic energy and creative intelligence, and that Jesus was a black man born of a black woman like us, that we could reach this same height. However, it's a practice.
Right.
You gotta practice. No matter what you want to become in life, it simply boils down to how much time you put into it. And through these rigorous disciplines like meditation, yoga, Tai Chi, group experience, awareness exercises, work, etc., it actually started transforming me.
Wow.
It wasn't a straight line. It was jagged.
Right.
You know, occasionally I fell off the wagon, but you know, I got back in the struggle, got back into it, and today I've been clean for 34 years.
Wow, praise God.
And fortunately, you know, I married my childhood sweetheart, Abasi Hill, and she never gave up on me. She stuck by me no matter what people were saying about me.
Right.
She hung in there because we were best friends. And that's the key to any relationship. You better be best friends, because there's going to be thick and thin.
Right.
And the person you choose to be your mate, it has to be your best friend, so that when those things come, because it's the webs and ebbs of life, then, you know, they're able to stay with you. And basically that's.
So do you feel as though putting together the whole mind, body, spirit aspect of reaching an individual was powerful? That was like putting it all together, where we're doing Tai Chi, which is working the physical, and then we have our spiritual connection with God in itself through our spirit, and then you have meditation and everything as like a mode to help with the soul's healing. That was like a form of like a very powerful, impactful way to reach that inner soul part of your being. Do you think it kind of escalates your healing process when you include all 3 of those aspects of our being into the healing process?
Well, you're a whole person. You're not separate.
Right.
It's just one body, one spirit, one mind. So it requires a holistic, you know, approach to it.
Holistic approach.
Matter of fact, in our church, that was one of the divine triangles: mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah.
So we worked those simultaneously. It was just simultaneously working on every parts of your being.
Yes.
And you know, because through life you build up all kind of mess in your life, and it takes a very powerful therapeutic program to strip away those layers and you know, get to the real self. Yeah. We call it Kua, and that's the science of becoming who God meant you to be.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a continuous. It's not one time. Is in our church we say we're saved every day.
Okay.
Every single day you have to decide who you're going to serve.
Oh, wow.
Because this world is so powerful, it's impinging upon us at every second of our, you know, being. Yeah. And before you know it, you know, without a very structured, powerful counterforce, you can find yourself like, how did I get over here? And
That's
it's
true.
through small baby steps. Before you know it, you're doing this or you're doing that. Yeah. And so it takes a very, very, very rigorous, disciplined approach to
that's good.
You know, get you back in line with the Almighty God, which is creative intelligence and cosmic energy.
Yes. So, thank you for sharing the story of your transformation. And I would like to know, how did you know that there was something that you were supposed to do to help bring awareness to the African American community? Did you hear something in your spirit? Did you keep seeing signs in a particular direction towards something? Like, how did you know that this was something that you were called to be a part of?
Well, I go back to my mother. My mother was a very naturalistic person. She would drop little nuggets all the time. You know, I just remember her saying, Tony, black people are 500 years behind, technologically speaking. I'm like, Ma, what are you talking about? We got good jobs. She said, no, technologically speaking, we're 500 years behind. This was before computers. Okay. So she was very, you know, aware of, you know, where we were. And, you know, she did say other things, you know, about the white man and how he will not share his power, things of that nature. And then I had a brother who was very interested in the Black Panthers. He kept a scrapbook of articles, because at that point, you know, the Black Panthers were very active. He wanted to be a Black Panther, and he would lay the scrapbook down, and I would go in and look at it. So in our church, we say the Holy Spirit is born anew in each generation. It's there. Okay. We have to just engage it. Okay. We have to feed it. And it depends on what you feed it is what you get out of it. Okay. So the emphasis on Black culture was always there, but, you know, until I joined the Shrine and we talked about it religiously, you know, daily, that was just our philosophy. Okay. You know, that we're glorious people, and, you know, we created civilization. We came from greatness, and it's within us. So, you know, just talking about it all the time and having visuals around and really working on a program to liberate Black people, it feeds that spirit. And then I met a brother over in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He carried a book called The Black Chronicle. The Black Chronicle is old newspapers from 1778 to 1956. So when I picked the book up over my father-in-law's house in Youngstown, Ohio, I immediately said, wow, I can sell these books to the museums. So I started selling the books to the museums. And then, of course, you know, I said, well, if he has a book, let me do my own book. So, you know, I just started, you know, from that perspective. And the Holy Spirit is an amazing thing. Yes. When you feed it, it will know, in the ways in which you want to go. But you have to be very guarded with it.
Okay.
Because otherwise, I mean, you can find yourself back into the same stuff that you wanted to get out of.
True. That's very true. So tell me about the birth of What If There Were No Black Folks? Tell me about the birth of this idea. How did it come into being?
Well, again, someone gave me the story. Someone sent it to me.
Send it to you.
And I'm like, wow, this is a great little story. I didn't write the story.
Mm-hmm.
Someone sent it to me. I don't know who. I just received it.
What?
Okay, so I held on to it.
Wow.
I held on to it. And I said, well, I'm going to make it into a book.
Wow.
So I met a young brother, Rashid Halim Ibn Bey, a very powerful young brother, and I just gave him the script.
Mm-hmm.
I said, illustrate the book for me. And he illustrated the book for me. Basically, you know, the same way it is today. We've always made little adjustments in the book. But that's basically how the book came about. I didn't write the story. I tell people all the time, I didn't write the story. The story just came to me from somewhere. I don't even know
amazing.
Who the author is. I did some research before I published it, you know, because I didn't want to take somebody else's material.
Wow.
And then, you know, the publisher came back and said, well, there's no known author, so use it.
That's a phenomenal story.
So, you know, I have developed, you know, a line of products from the book to the posters to the calendars to I have it written as a play, doing playing cards. I am doing a baby doll that will, you know, talk the whole story, or speak the whole story. I mean, just a lot of different little items that, you know, I have developed from it based on the fact that black people are so creative, you know.
Yes.
And, you know, we've taken something and made greatness out of a lot of things.
Yes, we have. That is so true.
Mm-hmm.
I know you did touch on it a while back to me when I was at home about how you had got the idea from someone else, but it almost seems like God gifted you the idea to bring it to life, you know, and all that you're doing with it, like, it's still alive. Mm-hmm. You know, when you read the story of little Omari, realizing in life what it would actually be like if there were no black folks is a truly amazing story, and the artwork is phenomenal. So I would just like to thank you for the work that you put into this, and it's powerful. So tell me, why is it important that we know about our African American inventors, particularly who came before us?
Well, I mean, because we use products every day. And we never think about who actually invented these products.
Right.
And after doing, again, that poster right there, I picked it up at the West End.
This one?
Yeah. I picked it up at the West End Library.
See that?
And I said, wow, this is a heck of a poster. Okay? And through the years, I have gone through every poster with the U.S. Patents Office. So I vetted the poster to make sure that it was accurate, and determined that black people either invented all these items or improved on them. And that's just a drop in the bucket. There's thousands and thousands of products that, you know, didn't make this poster.
Thousands and thousands.
Yeah, that we have had something to do with it. I mean, the air conditioner, where will we be without the air conditioner?
How many of you are using an air conditioner today in your home? Like
Frederick Jones, that was a brother out of Cincinnati, Ohio, in the 40s. And he started Thermo King. Thermo King is a refrigerated truck company. Okay, so his technology helped to birth the refrigerated truck industry. You know, where we could transport, you know, food and perishables across the country, around the world. That was a black man who did that, Frederick Jones.
I'm getting chill bumps just listening to that.
So it's so important for us to know that black people did great things because, of course, you know, we were told for many, many years, centuries, that we didn't do anything, but we were the first people to walk the planet. So if we were the first people to walk the planet, we had to do a lot of creating just to get the world to where it is today. We were doing all these things prior to the Europeans or other, you know, nationalities. I mean, and then we took it across the world.
True.
So that poster is very powerful. And when I go to the schools and read to the kids, I take that poster with me. Matter of fact, I mean, and I let them see it and tell them that black people invented these same things that we're using every day. And if they did it, you can do it. And greater things you can do.
That's amazing.
So these things are necessary in order for us to dispel the myths that people created about us, that we didn't do anything and this and that, when in fact, like I said, we're the first people to walk the planet. First people. So we created science, religion, mathematics, you name it, all the, you know, the serious disciplines that, you know, someone else have claimed.
Wow. Let me just read some of these inventions I'm looking over. Bicycle frame, blood bank, child carriage, the curtain rod and a curtain rod support, folding chair, gas burner, the golf tee.
A black doctor, Dr. Grant, a black dentist, invented the golf tee.
That's amazing.
The golf tee.
Right. We have the ticket dispensing machine, came from a black person. Pencil sharpener, paper bag machine. Improved the lemon squeezer, a black person. Improved guitar for all of you musicians out there, a black person. Improved the guitar. The lawn sprinkler, luggage carrier. I mean, that's phenomenal.
Stuff we use every single day. These items we use every day.
And he said this is just a little bit of the thousands of things that African American people have brought into our reality to help make life a lot easier for us all. That's so amazing. So, Abasi, you did speak about your faith a little bit a while ago, right? But I would like to know, what keeps you going when life's challenges seem to get heavy, as it do for all of us? What keeps you going? Do you have a mantra? Do you have an activity that you engage in? Do you have affirmations that you speak to yourself, or prayers that you pray? What keeps you going when life just gets heavy and you might want to give up?
Well, it's a combination of things. Just like, you know, for instance, this morning, my wife is chronically ill. And that's a heavy burden for me. And I have to call on God. I turn on some deep seated spiritual music, and her and I have church every morning, every afternoon. And then I call on the ancestors. I think about all these black men and women that went before us, gave their lives for the sake of liberation of black people. I think about Margaret Biddy Mason, who was a African American slave born in the deep South, that the white slave owner made her walk behind the wagon from some people say she was born in Mississippi, Arkansas, but they made her walk some 1,600 miles to Utah. Then they made her walk 300 to 400 miles into California, and she became free. They didn't realize California was a free state, so she fought for her rights, became free, and became one of the wealthiest women in Los Angeles. So these are people that we have to embrace. This is our history. These are our ancestors. These are our angels that are always with us, all the way around us, that they gave their lives under much more brutal conditions. But they didn't give up. They didn't give up because they knew that they were doing it for a greater reason, to make life better for us in the future.
Not to cut you off where you finish. That reminded me of when I read the acknowledgement for the coloring activity book. Let me read that. This book is written in honor of those countless African American inventors whose lives and contributions to society were taken for granted. These unsung heroes and heroines used their God-given abilities to create inventions that revolutionized the world and the way we currently carry out our daily tasks. Their inventions were done under the most extreme conditions. They were either slaves or victims of the Jim Crow laws. In spite of their situations, they were able to connect with their creative intelligence to make life easier, not just for themselves, but also for those who would come after them. This book is a tribute to their contributions to our society today. We honor them, we acknowledge them, and salute their greatness. Ashe. So after I read that, it really struck a chord in me because I'm like, wow, they were able to create such wonderful inventions. And here I am taking almost 15 years to write one book, which I know everything is in its divine timing. But just thinking about all the obstacles they had to overcome just to be able to get their inventions out there. Let this, what I just read, the acknowledgement for this book, be an encouragement for you to keep going, keep pushing. If you have an idea, if you have something that you feel called to do, go ahead, put your hand to the work and get it done. But one thing that you mentioned to me was that oppression. What did you say about oppression was kind of like the impetus for them to get it out there? They used it to their advantage. Is that what you were telling me?
Right. Well, I mean, yes. I mean, they had no choice. They had to tap into a higher power. That was the way of their lives at that time. So they didn't just roll over and die.
Right.
They used it to their advantage. They created all these instruments that we use today. They created communities because they had a strong will to survive. So that's still within us.
Right.
We are constantly under assault. In our church, we say we live in an enemy system, that whatever is going on today shouldn't surprise us. We've been through this before. I have a poster downstairs that says 3,750 deaths in 12 southern states. And from 1877 to 1950, over 3,750 lynchings. Okay? And that poster was actually updated to include a total of 6,000 known lynchings from 1877 to 1950. So think about that. The distress, the fear, the pressure that we have been under since we arrived in this country in 1619. So they used that. They didn't just give up. And we can't give up.
Right.
We have to call on these ancestors. Call on the power of God that is all around us, that is there for us to tap into so that we can run our race.
Wow. I just had to let that marinate for a second. Like, that is such a powerful, when you really look at it, it gives you a drive. Well, for me, for sure, like, this whole moment in time, it just seems so auspicious for me right now. And to hear you speak like that, it's just, all I can say is thank you, God. That's all I can really say right now.
We've been under it. We have been under it since we've been here. And we're still here, and we're still growing. Whereas if you look at the numbers, a lot of European countries, I mean, their numbers are actually declining, and we're still populating. That's phenomenal. And they say Africa is the fastest growing continent in the world with the youngest population. And look what Africa has been under.
Wow. It makes me think about the fact that the cosmos expands. It's constantly in expansion every day and all the time. It's growing the galaxies, more and more. Mm-hmm. And you speaking about how Africa is expanding and we're expanding. It seems like some type of connection there.
Well, we're a smaller manifestation of the universe. Mm-hmm. Spirit is in us.
Right.
God is spirit. It's all around us. And the struggle is for us to connect with it. Connect with it and use the energy that God has given us and the creative intelligence that God has given us to achieve a better life.
Wow. That's so powerful. Now I'd like to switch a little bit into the topic of gratitude. I see gratitude, as I mentioned in my introduction, as a superpower because of a situation I was in my life. And God just really showed me to just start saying thank you, Amira. Like, everything happens for a reason in my life. And when you complain, you actually kind of curse your life and you curse yourself. You're speaking ill about yourself. And our words are spirit and our words are life, right? So please share with us, what part does gratitude play in your life? How important is gratitude for you? What do you have a practice of gratitude daily or something? I know you say you have church every day, and I'm sure gratitude plays a good part in that. But how has gratitude really, if it's changed your life in a superpower type of way, or do you see a specific way gratitude has impacted your life? Just being grateful and.
Well, yes, because I don't have to be here. All the stuff that I did to myself, I should be dead. Okay, so I'm grateful to be able to wake up. People say, you're going to be blessed. I'm blessed by just waking up.
Opening your eyes.
That's it. Everything else is on me. I'm grateful. And I try to show my gratitude by giving back. That's what this is about. This is about giving back, making the world a better place. And you show your gratitude by doing these kind acts. So, and in doing these kind acts, you're receiving. That's all that God is supposed to do. Everything else is up to you. So I try to show my gratitude, the fact that, that I came from drug addiction, a very wrecked life, to where I'm at today. So I have to be able to, give back, make the world a better place. Because I've caused enough. I helped to destroy our people.
Wow. That's powerful.
I did a lot of things to women, i.e. my wife, other women, and, you know, families. So I have to try to make the world a better place while I am still here.
Wow, that's powerful, Abasi. So, how has engaging in these projects with What If There Were No Black Folks, producing the coloring activity book, the posters, and all the other things you're working on the projects, how has that changed your life for the better? That in itself.
Well, again, you know, I look at these things and the fact that I can create these things and, of course, live off of these things. And then, of course, take these out and share with my brothers and sisters. And when you see, like I said, when you go to the schools and see the little kids, you know, they are just so thrilled to hear me say that they have greatness in them. And then, you know, when I go into the barbershops and beauty salons and talk to our people about, you know, the greatness, that's changing me. That's helping me stay on the straight and narrow. Because it's energy. It's an energy exchange, you know? And it helps me just as much as it helps anybody else.
Right. That's awesome. So, let's talk about your legacy. What impact do you hope to make during your lifetime? What would you want to be known for, remembered for? Like, what's the legacy you're leaving behind here?
Well, I mean, I really believe that you're here to serve and not to be served. That's what I believe, that you're here to serve and not to be served. I mean, you look at our history, these great men and women, Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, Martin Luther King. You know, you go down the list. They were servants. They were servants. I mean, the greatest among us are those willing to serve. So I get joy out of serving. When we first moved over here 19 years ago, from the day we arrived, we started picking up paper in the neighborhood. We had picked up so much trash up and down our streets. Not because we littered, but because we live here.
Right.
And, you know, I could say I didn't litter and leave it down, but that wouldn't, you know, serve any purpose. So it's like when our youngest son was killed in a car accident, the first thing we said, what can we do to help these kids?
Wow.
Because we didn't know how many children were dying every year. We started doing our research, you know, in the 50s and 60s, over 60,000 people a year were dying in car accidents.
Wow.
Contrary to popular belief, more people were dying in car accidents in the 50s and 60s because of the nature of the cars and the fact that people weren't, you know, really wearing seatbelts. Seatbelt law didn't come into effect until the 1960s. And then, of course, you know, it probably took a long time for people to really grasp that concept.
Right.
The cars weren't as safe as they are today.
True.
But we decided we need to do something about this. It wasn't something that was on our social map, but unfortunately, our youngest son was killed because he was riding with 3 other young men early morning hours in the back seat, didn't have his seatbelt on, was partially ejected. The other kid was totally ejected. And we said, what can we do? And then, of course, we were over on Northside Drive one day, and we seen all these black men laying in the fields. We're like, what can we do? So we came back, we're ministers, we got with the other ministers and said we need to start a feeding program. We called it Feed My Sheep. Okay, so from that point in 2008, 2009, up until the pandemic, we had made over 30,000 plates. Every 2 Saturdays, you know, we make up 100, 150 breakfast plates, quality food. We weren't just putting anything in the plates. We always had, you know, grits, eggs, whole wheat toast to that bread that I eat today, turkey, sausage, water, and we just ride around the west end of Atlanta and we hand out the plates.
Wow.
Then, you know, we started the Septima Clark Reading Academy, which we currently do that now. It's a small program where we assist young kids from the age of, our youngest was kindergarten, our oldest was at this point 7th grade. We did have a couple older adults that came along, but it's a reading program because we realize that, you know, that's the foundation for a good life. If you can't read, you're not going to go far. So we are doing that as well. So, I mean, we just look out and see cars and, hey, we need to be doing it.
That's awesome, Abasi. Very powerful. Everything you're saying is just like the conviction that you have and the passion that you have. I hope it gets on me, some on me, since I'm in your presence right now. That is so powerful. You've spoken of a lot. It's like you're ever growing, you're ever evolving. I hear it in what you're speaking of. So, for the rest of the year, do you have any projections or anything that you're working to bring forth, particularly for the rest of 2025? Is there any projects that you know, you mentioned a few things for What If There Were No Black Folks that you were working on, but specifically for this year, what do you have planned to bring out? Like, what's next for you?
Well, you know, I go down to Tuskegee. I go to Montgomery. I go over to Selma. Okay? Every year, I go to the Bloody Sunday March. Okay, so in doing that, I have spent a lot of time in that area. Tuskegee, Montgomery, Selma. I even gone over to Marion, Alabama. So we put together a preliminary tour. It's called the Sankofa Historical Tour, where we go to those towns and we highlight certain, you know, historical destinations, and we want to take people to these historical destinations.
Wow.
Because this is our history, and we need to see this. There's a place over in Montgomery, Alabama called the Legacy Museum, and this brother has done great works. His name is Brian Stevenson. And he created the Legacy Museum based on, of course, you know, the brutality of our people throughout the years. And he's a civil rights attorney or defense attorney, and he created a museum called the Mass Incarceration Museum, where he fought to get black men and women off of death row, these lengthy sentences, et cetera, et cetera. Wow. So people need to see that. Then you go over to Selma, Alabama, where John Lewis and Reverend Albert Turner and Amelia Boykins and these young people risked their lives crossing the Edmund Pettus Bridge just to bring attention to the oppression that was there at that time. So, I mean, we want to be able to bring that tour to life. Now, of course, you know, that will require us to have some things in place like tour buses and things of that nature. But, you know, that's a project that we like to maybe work on in 2025 and going into 2026.
That's wonderful. I appreciate how you dedicated so much of your life to bringing awareness to our people about how amazing and brilliant and creative we are in God. I mean, it's through God that we're able to do all of this. And, yep, good timing. I left my other phone over there, but Abasi, thank you once again for opening your home to me and to my brand new baby, the Divine Frequency Podcast. I really appreciate everything you've done here today. And in spite of what you're going through in your personal life, you were welcoming to us. And I pray that somebody was able to use some of the information that was shared here today, even if it's for encouragement, upliftment, or to bring awareness to who you really are, okay?
Do I have a minute?
Yes, you do. You can have closing remarks.
This story is about a little boy named Amari. Amari was my youngest son, and unfortunately he was killed in a car accident. But he was a curious little boy getting ready to go to bed. He said, Dad, Mom, what if there were no black folks? And I said, well, son, go to sleep, get up in the morning, and your mom will be here, and she will show you. So he jumps out of the bed, tries to find his pants, and his pants are so wrinkled because Sarah Boone, a black woman, improved the ironing board. And then his mom said, son, where's your shoes? He couldn't find his shoes because Jan Metzeling, a black man, invented the shoe lasting machine. She said, son, go brush your hair. He couldn't find the brush because Lada Newman, a black woman, improved the vented brush. And he definitely couldn't find his hair care products because Madam C.J. Walker, a black woman, invented hair care products. So she says, okay, sweep the floor. He's sweeping. He can't find the dustpan because Lloyd P. Ray, a black man, improved the dustpan. And he definitely couldn't mop the floor because Thomas Stewart, a black man, invented the clamping mop. She said, put your clothes in the dryer. He couldn't find the dryer because George C. Sampson, a black man, improved a heated dryer. She said, let's do a list before we go to the store. Pick up the pencil. The lead was broken because John Love, a black man, invented the pencil sharpener. And he definitely couldn't find the fountain pen because John Burr, a black man, improved the fountain pen. So she said, okay, let's go outside. He ran over to the door, couldn't find the doorknob because old Dorsey, a black man, invented the doorknob. But once he got outside, the grass had grown so tall because John Burr, a black man, improved the blade on the rotary lawnmower. She said, jump in the car, put your seatbelt on. The car would not move because Richard Spikes, a black man, improved the automatic gear shift. Got the car going, went up to the corner, but no traffic light. Garrett Morgan, a black man, invented the mechanical traffic signal. They got the food back home, went to the refrigerator. Refrigerator wasn't getting cold because John Standard, a black man, improved the cooling system on the refrigerator. She said, look, turn up the heat. Well, there was no thermostat control because Frederick Jones, a black man, invented the thermostat control. And she said, look, we might have to have surgery, have a seat. Well, there was no blood bank because Dr. Charles Drew, a black scientist, invented the process to preserve and store blood. And Dr. Daniel Hale Williams, a black scientist, black surgeon, created the first open heart surgery, or did the first open heart surgery. So it was getting late. He went into his room, looked around. He couldn't find the bed. And Sarah E. Good, a black woman, invented the folding cabinet bed. So at that point, he crawled into our arms and said, now I know what it would be like if there were no black folks.
Powerful.
Thank you.
And guys, look, this is a phenomenal activity coloring book. If you're interested in purchasing any, just send me an inbox, reach me in my DM, and I'll look into trying to connect you with Mr. Hill, okay? All right, anything else, Mr. Hill?
No, thank you.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right, guys, remember, you are divine, so let your light shine. I love you. Bye.